Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for the week of March 13th. We're just gonna get started here, Aries. And we're going to see what is going on for you. You have this teacher card that says, teach what you know, even if you aren't an expert. You know, they always say that the best way to learn something is to teach it, but I do feel like you have a lot to teach. I really feel like people are looking up to you as well. Like, this might not be the actual message that's going on here might not necessarily be saying that you're teaching people, but it's more like saying, well, in a way you are, right? But it might just be saying that you're more kind of, inspiring people, or people are looking up to you at this time here. I get this, it's kind of weird because I get this like sense of competition here, Aries, where you could be like worried about competition, or you could be thinking, something about, competition in work, career, business. But I really, I feel like you have nothing to worry about here. And I actually feel like this reading is saying that there's a lot of success coming in for you. Your readings lately have really been kind of pushing me in that direction, that it seems like you could be greatly benefiting from, obviously having Jupiter in your first. It's also going into your second this year as well. It's going to retrograde back into your first. Also, but for the most part, it's going to be in your first house, in your house, which is great for being looked up to. I always say with Pluto going into Aquarius, probably one of those spiritual best things that we could possibly do is be an inspiration for other people. So, obviously, with all that first house energy, I would be taking advantage of it and I would be inspiring people. And we see that here. You have the Empress. I do feel like this is your energy. I feel like you're very attractive at this time. I'm not actually sure. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure that it's you that keeps getting the Empress, or you've had it several times with me recently. So you could be finding, getting a lot of attention. But again, this fits in very well with the astrology. When you have Jupiter in your first and in your second, and other houses as well, but first and second for sure, you can get a lot more attention. And the reason that I say the second is because usually when a planet leaves a sign, we've learned the lessons from the planet, and we don't really start to implement those lessons, or maybe we don't, we don't get going with those lessons until the planet leaves that house. So when it goes into your second, it's like you're probably going to be more, it's like you're taking more action on those first house, kind of principles, like how people see you, how you project yourself into the world. You could be changing your looks or your appearance, but it doesn't even have to do with that. It could be like your business's appearance, for example. You could be changing the way your business appears, making it more professional, all these things. And I really feel you're doing this right now. And again, you have these Seven of Wands here. I feel like you just need to keep going here. This is an interesting Seven of Wands. I love this deck. This is the After Tarot, but I don't really necessarily agree with this Seven of Wands. It's not that it's wrong, right? The Seven of Wands does represent defending your position at the top of a hill. The next card would be the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands would represent a victory. So it's like this guy has, won the battle, basically. But really, it's a card of belief. It's a card of believing something so deeply that you become successful. I kind of feel like this is saying, if you're thinking competition, about other people and things like that, I feel like those will be distractions. So I do feel this is saying, focus on whatever you're working on here, Aries, and stay clear. You have the Queen of Swords. To me, I always say that she is a card of being clear for the first time, and it doesn't even want to focus. So, therefore not proving my point. But she normally only has clouds halfway up her body. And you also have the Ace of Swords here. These are all cards of great clarity coming in for you, or, kind of understanding something on a different level. So let's see here with the Empress, you have the Six of Swords, big improvements coming in for you here. I do feel something going on in the home for some of you. Some of you could be moving, or it's I don't know, downsizing. I don't even think it's downsizing, honestly. As I always say, if I were you, Aries, I think that it's an amazing time, the next 2 or 3 years. If you're looking to move or travel, it's an amazing time for you to look for something that's better but cheaper, or maybe you want to start a business, and maybe there's a state that has better business rules or better business taxes or whatever, right? So if there was ever a time to look for those opportunities, it would be right now. And same thing with love as well. It's if you live in the middle of nowhere, it's going to be really hard to find love. But if you move somewhere else, maybe you have a better chance, right? With the Seven of Wands, you have the Hermit, which you have twice in this reading. The Hermit is kind of about shining bright. And, I always say, well, I'm going to show you on this one because it's just easier, but the Hermit has this star in his lantern, and the star kind of represents the star, something that he needs to present to the world, something that he needs to show off. Like, he has earned his right to be at the top of this mountain. And again, that's why I think this is saying don't worry about other people because, like if they have something to say about your life or the way you do business or whatever it is, it's like you've earned your right, that, and that's all that matters. Like when we start worrying about like what people say and we start, going off on our comments like I do, every 6 months or something like that, it builds up in me too. And sometimes I just go off on a person. But, at the same time, lately I haven't been doing it for like the past year because I just like, well, who cares, right? People are going to say stuff and who cares? For some of you, I do feel this could be family that's saying something. And again, I would just ignore it. With the Queen of Swords, and I know that's hard for you, Aries, you have the Two of Wands. Yeah, it makes sense again with Jupiter in your first house that these readings would really be encouraging you to like face some fears or to be bold and assertive. Again, with Pluto going into Aquarius, I think one of the things that will trigger a lot of people is that the fear that we all probably have to face is the risk of exposure. I talk about this all the time, that, we could want to start a YouTube channel, but maybe we're afraid that people are going to call us stupid or wrong, or maybe we have an idea that the world hasn't seen before because Aquarius is all about innovation, and maybe we're worried, like, are people going to understand me and all this other stuff? And guess what? No is the answer. People are not going to understand you. The whole point of Pluto in Aquarius is to prove it, right? Is you have an idea, prove it. So people aren't going to understand you. There's that old quote. At first they call you crazy or whatever, and then they think you're a genius or something like that. I don't remember what the quote is, right? Who cares? But what I would say is that's like what the name of the game right now. It's like people are going to call you crazy until you prove them wrong, and then they're going to call you a genius. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this card that says, be willing to let go of everything you once thought to be true. I mean, damn. If there was ever a card for, like, the time that we are in right now, especially with Neptune and Pisces, I always say Neptune and Pisces is, like, I think something people don't understand about Neptune and Pisces is it's a challenge to traditional belief. Like, we were raised to believe certain things. Maybe those things aren't true, and maybe those things hold us back. So, I really feel we're in a time where we should be embracing kind of new ideas. Doesn't mean you have to agree with anything, as I always say, but it does mean that you might encounter some new ideas, and you could explore those ideas. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, but at least you tried, right? You have the Fool, the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. Even though the Nine of Swords is a challenging card, 2 nines to me can represent something new, something different. And again, the Nine of Swords can be uncomfortable, but we kind of have a choice with the Nine of Swords. We can, there's a carving down here where there's a guy who's being hit with a sword. And, I always say that the Nine of Swords kind of says you have a choice. You can be the guy on his back that's getting hit by the sword, or you can be the one doing the hitting, right? You can be the bug or the windshield here, Aries. So some of you could be making a decision, but look, we go to the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands is coming up in the area of the good stuff. So it doesn't matter what shows up here. It's going to be good no matter what. And the Ten of Wands would be about releasing a burden. So it looks to me like some of you are leaving a comfort zone here with the Two of Wands. Two of Wands, normally his village is down here. And on a traditional Two of Wands. And it kind of just represents leaving a comfort zone or going in a new direction. But I feel like you're kind of like opening up to new ideas as well. You have the Nine of Cups, so I am getting wish energy here. I would just make a wish if there's something that you want to manifest into your life. And, I do kind of feel like there's a wish. I also, sometimes I feel that he is maybe like a barkeep, like he's handing out those cups that are behind him. And I do feel like you're being more specific, even if we go this way. Two of Wands to the Ace of Swords. It's like you're being much more clear about who you give your energy to. And I feel this is going to be a good thing. It's like you're not just, I don't think you're giving these cups to just anyone. And I'm not even just talking about love here. I'm talking about everything in your life. Like you're much more, I feel like you're much more specific with your energy. And I also feel like you're valuing yourself more, which we really saw with the Empress. You have the Fool here. And I do feel like you need to take a leap of faith at this time. You can see how this Fool, he's kind of like hanging on here, smelling that rose. I feel like it's saying, like, don't, I feel like if you're going to do something new, this is saying, make the leap. I don't know if you've ever, I always say that this card reminds me of, like, if you've ever seen any of those YouTube videos where it's like a person goes to jump off a diving board, they hesitate, they like jump up and then they hit the diving board and, it's like a big mess. I feel like this card always says, like, take the full leap. Don't just dabble in something. Again, if you're dabbling, I feel that it's just not going to get anywhere because you're just creating a dabbling energy. But if you kind of dive head first into something, then I feel like you will be successful. Let's see. With the Fool, you have the Tower. Everybody's had the Tower again this week, so, I mean, what else is new, right? Doesn't really surprise me. I also feel with the Two of Wands that, and the Fool as well, that this could just represent a move. On top of that, I do feel like you could be creating a Tower for people in your life. You could be making decisions to walk away from people who, like, no longer serve you, or you could just be kind of, like, moving in new directions. It looks like some of you could be kind of cutting something toxic out of your life as well. Could be a person, doesn't have to be, could be anything, and it could be causing a tower moment. And people always say, like, Chris, how is that a tower moment? I'm like, well, I don't know, if you, like, stop eating pizza, like I have, then it's a tower, because I love pizza. That's all I want to eat every single day, right? So it is a tower for me, but I've had to rebuild and eat something different, right? With the Nine of Swords, you have the Knight of Cups. Definitely a Knight in Shining Armor coming in for you. I feel like you need to, like, I do feel this is saying, like, it's almost like the more you think about love, the less likely it is to enter into your life right now, which is weird. But again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't think about it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, like, try to manifest it. But if you're constantly focusing on not having it, I feel like you're not going to have it. So I kind of feel it would be a good time for you to just, like, stop watching tarot, as I always say, and I'm dead serious, right? If tarot is consuming your life and you're always constantly thinking about past relationships or whatever, then maybe it's time to take a break, right? But I do feel there's, like, new love coming in for you here. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Your fortunes are definitely changing. I mean, this is a major focus for you. Not only will you have Jupiter in your second house, but you have Uranus and Taurus in your second house. And as I always say, Uranus and Taurus has a major focus on your values, like things that you value. Could be, like, money-wise, but it could also just be, like, your values, like your morals, your ethics, and all that other stuff, things that match up with your values. So I feel for a lot of you, this is kind of just saying you're looking for more of those, like, quality experiences, and quality is a big word for Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is all about quality. It's all about, like, Taurus wants the nicer things in life. But I think some people, like, get it wrong with Taurus as well, because it's not about materialism. It's like a Taurus could, live very frugally, right? But maybe they, with Uranus and Taurus, it's like you could still live very frugally, but it's about, like, having quality. So I hope that makes sense. And again, I really feel, for whatever reason, that's what that's talking about. I feel like it's saying you are, like, increasing the quality of your life, but it could literally be through, buying things that are quality. Could even have to do with, because of your first house activation stuff going on with Jupiter there as well. It could have to do with, like, how you take care of yourself. You could be increasing the quality of how you take care of yourself. All of that is just going to lead to a big victory here with the Ace of Swords. So, I'm a big fan of doing that. Next, in the area of what's coming towards you or what you need to know right now, you have this heart. It says love, new love. There you go. You have this witch. It says magic, curse on it. I don't really feel there's any curses. Again, I don't necessarily believe in curses. And people always say, Chris, how dare you not believe in curses? Curses are very real. I'm like, prove it, right? It's, like, ridiculous. And, I always tell people, it's like, think of, like, voodoo, for example. It's like, I always use that as an example because they have to put the voodoo doll on a person's doorstep. Like, that's how it works. And if they don't do that, it doesn't work. So again, curses don't work as far as I'm concerned. But, feel free to send some curses my way. I still protect myself. I'm still a big fan of people protecting themselves. But I also think if you think that you're cursed, then you are going to be cursed, right? But what I would say is that I feel this is, like, more you breaking a spell. Especially with this Devil card here. You have the Devil, the Two of Wands, and the Four of Wands. I do feel for a small percentage of you, you could be leaving a past person or a person that you're with right now. And I would say this is only for those of you that are thinking about leaving a person. If things are going well, then keep going, right? But if you are with a toxic person, it's almost like you're flipping the script on this person. I feel like I've said this to you before here, Aries. And so again, this person could be a little surprised. But for the rest of you, I do feel there could be, like, a Capricorn. Could be an Earth sign. You have Virgo. You have all three Earth signs here: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Could be an Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo as well. You have that Wheel of Fortune. So, it could be one of the fixed signs that's coming in for you, but take it how it resonates. I do feel like this will be a very kind of like a deep connection here. The only thing that's kind of keeping me stuck here a little bit is this right here, the Two of Wands. I like the Two of Wands. Don't get me wrong, but somebody's hesitating, and I feel like I've said this to you before. You know, he's at the top of this castle, and the story of the Two of Wands is that he's rushed to a finish line. Like, he feels like he's experienced everything there is to experience, but he has the whole world in his hands. Like, there's more for him to experience. So I do feel like this is saying, if you're like hesitating in love, thinking like, oh, this new person is going to be just like the last person, I would say no. I feel that you just need to give it a shot and make it different, and it will be different. For others, I also do feel that you could be traveling, and you could be traveling like away from home, and I feel it'll be good for you. You have the Four of Wands. Clearly, you could be meeting a person that you marry, so if you're looking for love, here you go. For all of you, I also feel that you are being set free just in life in general, or you're feeling more free. I get like more creative freedom. You know, maybe you feel like you've been boxed into something for a long time. Maybe you feel like you know, like there's, you know, it's like I've talked to a lot of tarot readers like on YouTube, you know, especially recently because of all the craziness that's going on. And it's like one thing that I've noticed is that like none of them, it's like I think there's a common theme of them feeling very stuck. Like, you know, tarot is a grind. It's like we have to do this every single day basically, and there's no break, right? And you know, I kind of feel that for some of you is like what I'm trying to say. It's like maybe you feel like you've just been grinding, or you know, kind of like having to really put the work into things. And I kind of feel that sense of, you know, maybe it's not a vacation, but, you know, kind of getting a break, or feeling like you're, like, I feel like you could be doing things to get a break as well. With the Devil, you have the Six of Pentacles here. Six of Pentacles is a card of balance, so I do feel like there could be a more balanced person coming in for you. I do feel like some of you could be leaving a breadcrumber. I also feel like you could be leaving a person who just has you on a seesaw. Maybe they just go back and forth between, you know, multiple people or whatever. So I feel like you could be leaving that situation. It's like you finally see it clearly. For others, I do feel there's like, for some reason, I do feel like I have the word lump sum popping into my head. I do feel like some of, but I don't think this is like the lottery or anything. I want to stress that. I feel like if someone owes you money, I feel like this could be money. I also feel like if you work with like clients, you know, if you get big checks in business or whatever, I kind of feel like this could be a large amount, like a large amount. And I don't think it's, maybe it's not like a mind-blowing amount of money, but I think it's nice for those of you that do that type of work. With the Two of Wands, you have the Nine of Wands here. Like, I feel like this is saying don't give up, really. I think it's saying try again. Like, you know, remember, it's funny that I was saying on that Two of Wands that basically you've tried love before, and I feel like you're afraid of kind of repeating the same old story. And for others, this could be in business as well. But I feel like this is saying take the risk anyway. Just do it. With the Four of Wands, you have the Justice card, definitely balance, and also could be a Libra. You get Libra a lot in your readings, Aries. So if you want love, could be a Libra, but take it how it resonates. I also feel this is about equal give and take. I keep telling people, like, this is how I would be operating in life for the rest of my life, and I am. I'm like really, really paying attention, like extra attention to cause and effect, meaning like if I put energy into something, what do I get out of the situation? In work and business and love and my friendships, everything. Because I just think we really need to pay attention to make sure that we're entering into like reciprocal situations. Again, I wouldn't be like paranoid about this. I wouldn't even, you know, be like, oh, like whipping out a notebook and being like, oh, I said I love you to my boyfriend today and he didn't say it back, so that's not 50-50. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like, can you look at a situation and say, for the most part, you know, in love, this person tries? Can you say with your business, for the most part, this is a lot better than having a job? And if the answer to that question is yes, then keep moving. And this goes for everything. If the answer is no, quit and go to something else. Leave the relationship and go to something else. But it gets much smaller than that as well. It's like if you're trying to grow your business, it's like, are there new things you can do? And can you experiment, Nine of Wands, and try to figure out like what the good balance is? And we're not even talking about balance. You want to be entering into situations where you put something in, you get more out, right? At the end here for the good stuff, you have this pirate ship. It says, set sail on a new adventure, explore beyond the horizons. Yes, everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before. I've been saying this for years now. And because it's just a sign of the times. It's like everything we want is on the other side of something we've never done before. So I would be moving in new directions. I would be doing new things, trying new stuff. You know, that's basically what I would be doing with this pirate ship energy. You have the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Hermit card. The Ace of Swords is a card of victory, and so I feel like there's like a victory coming in for you. I do feel for some of you, this could be communication and love as well. Again, there is love here in this reading, of course. You have that heart card, but is it really a love reading? Kind of. I would say, there's kind of love here, but not really. So again, if you want love, there could be communication. But for the rest of you, I feel like this is talking about victories. I feel really, by the way, if you work online, I feel really good about this. If you want to work online, I feel really, really good about this Ace of Swords. So it's like now's the time to start that YouTube channel, side hustle, whatever. I would get moving. With the Ten of Wands here, I feel like you're kind of like getting a big breath of fresh air this week. There could be like a major release for you where you're releasing something that's been weighing you down. And finally, you have the Hermit. The Hermit is a card of kind of having completed something as well. It's a card of a rite of passage, and you have two cards actually. You start with the Six of Swords, and then you end with this Hermit. The Hermit can represent like kind of going through a dark night of the soul, but it is a card of a rite of passage. So I feel like for some of you, it's like you're completing some sort of rite of passage, and you're getting some sort of gift from the universe. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Three of Cups. Definitely a celebration coming in for you here. Again, I know this is going to sound cliche as well. If there's love coming in for you, it feels different. It feels right. I feel like you feel like, wow, this really feels right to me. This really feels really good. So, again, I feel like there's a feeling thing that you need to pay attention to as well. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Magician. Definitely a new beginning coming in for you. I feel like you've attracted freedom in your life, or, you kind of like want that peaceful freedom. With the Hermit, you have the Star. I'm kidding. We were talking all about this, about how you need to like let your star shine. That teacher card at the beginning, it's like you're just inspiring people. People ask me all the time, like, what is my spiritual path? I'm like, first off, we are not necessarily here to do anything spiritual. I believe we're here, spirit here on earth, to have a human experience. So I think people get too caught up in, being focused on the spiritual. And trust me, I'm spiritual, right? But what I would say is I feel like the best thing we can do, the most spiritual thing we could do right now, is be an example for other people. You have this eye card. It says psychic ability, trust your intuition. I do feel you're extremely intuitive at this time, and so definitely. And I would also trust your intuition at this time. I feel like there's a lot of like guidance, and I feel there's inner guidance coming in for you here as well with the eye card. You have this Axe card. It says forces working against you, and I wouldn't worry about this. Mars is about to leave Gemini. I really feel this could be Mars and Gemini type energy. It is kind of gossipy, and again, when a planet gets to the end of the sign, that's kind of like when it's strongest, at the beginning and at the end. And so you might just be feeling like people are gossiping and stuff, and I always say the best thing you can do is ignore it. You have this Target card. It says a goal-oriented person. I feel like this is you. I feel like you have a lot of goals, wishes, dreams, and I would keep, pushing towards those things. You have the Scales card. It says keep your life in balance. Yes, we talked all about this, Six of Pentacles and the Justice card. And finally, you have this Mountain Road. It says you're on the road to success. Damn, Aries. This is a very good reading. I love where this is going. So much good stuff. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.